we're joined by one of Senator Stewart Cousins' colleagues, James Sanders. Forgive me, you're from Harlem?
Oh, no,
my bad.
I'm from the better part of New York City.
Don't
Queens, New York.
Queens, my bad.
Now, if you know that Senator Bill Perkins hears that, you know he's gonna.
I was only bold enough to say it when he wasn't here.
Yeah, it's tough to remember where all the districts are.
Oh, please! If
Queens,
that's our
though,
biggest problem, you don't have one.
Exactly. Yeah. I'm actually from Queens. I live in Flushing as well. So
I like it.
I like Queens very much. Thanks for joining us. It's obviously been a great event here.
Yes.
You know, it's historic, as we've been speaking about with the election of Carl Hasty. You know,
incredible.
How many years have you been coming here, and how is maybe this year different than previous years?
I have been coming to the Black Caucus, Black, Latino, and Asian Caucus for, off and on for 10 years. I have been a member. I'm entering into my third year, but you are right, sir. There is a new energy. There's a bunch of new folk and some fresh ideas here. And I'm not sure if it started the tidal wave that produced the new speaker, but I do know the new speaker there's an avalanche of new ideas moving down the slope of Albany. And I don't think it's going to stop there. And to be honest, it can't stop there. The conditions in the community are getting worse as we are spending too much time partying.
I think that is certainly true. And one of the things that you bring up that point, and I think that we have to actually, I want to ask you about that. It is the condition. It is not exclusive to one group. Or one, ideology. There seems to be a mistrust, I think rightfully so, by the people that employ you and that actually select you and say, okay, you said I want the job, you being the entire legislature.
Yes.
And somehow some within that group, whether the assembly, the Senate, even some governors. We saw a governor out of this state that actually resigned because of some things that were shenanigans going on. The mistrust in general, we see it throughout. There's also the bipartisan bickering and the obstructionist ways of the Republicans with our president right now. So we've seen all of that. So people are sick and tired. What do you think has to happen right now so people to start restoring the confidence? I mean, the governor spoke about reform and doing this and that, like again, I'll say it, I said it before, like if he wasn't part of the problem. So what are you folks that are younger and coming with a fresh eyes, what are you looking at? Certainly Queens has his share of legal messes and corruption and people being shaming the whole borough and themselves and everything else. So how are you seeing this? What needs to happen?
Politics is the art of bringing home the bacon. We should bring home chicken bacon. We can bring home turkey bacon, but bring some bacon. Part of the problem is that we are not delivering on the bacon to the people. We are not delivering on the better infrastructure. We're not delivering on the better schools. We're not delivering on the shopping centers which are by and large look bad. We are not doing the basic stuff. So a partnership is being breached, where the people are coming out and they are voting. That's their part of this. They're missing one part. They have to keep watching. It's not enough. Politics cannot be a football game where you come to stand, you root your team, and you look this way and you look that way, it goes up, and they do. No, you've got to hold our feet to the fire. Part of the problem is people are not holding us accountable. No one knows what a senator is. How is a senator different than an assembly person? How is an assembly person different than a council person, district leader? We all have to hold all of us responsible. However, we up here have taken that oath and we have to start the process. We have to clean our ranks. If we know of anyone who's not doing right by the people, we need to start shunning them. We need to start coming up with some way of saying, you can't be with us because we are with the people. And if you're stealing their money, then you can't be with me. So we in one sense, we need to clean our own ranks. I ran against an incumbent who later went to my opponent went to jail. And it is known that you cannot beat an incumbent. Yet we beat her with 1,500 votes to spare. by keeping faith with the people, doing the people's business, and at the same time being prepared to call people out, being prepared to say what you're doing is not right. We're not going to stand for it. We're not going to be quiet. I'm not going to go with this old boy network. We're not going to do this type of stuff, and we'll take whatever goes with it. If you do that, the people will respond. If you do that, the people will stand with you. Now, all of us fall. I mean, none of us, I'm not here to say that I'm the perfect person. No. I'm the least perfect. I'll be the first to say it. But at the same time, we take an oath. We at the top have to show folk at the bottom that their investment is worth it.
What is it? What are the trappings that make people who are well-intended and take out, for example, your case, and I'll use that to illustrate, you take out an incumbent who was corrupt, you wind up going. What are the trappings that may make you, all the good intentions you have, that with all this power and what are the trappings that you see right now that make people like you, well-intentioned, then, not only bend the law, which you can bend the law, but then when you break it, you're going to pay for it. So what makes you bend that and then go past that?
Part of it is a culture. That culture of that 3-man-in-a-room business. That culture of you got to go along to get along, where you vote for certain things. For example, a vote came up where most of my colleagues went with that was absolutely rat poison for the people. A vote to give tax breaks on some J51, a tax deal for big giant developers. It had no real reason except to make other people rich. I'm not here simply to make folk rich. I'm here to make New York as a whole
But those
richer.
are the same people that are giving contributions to
Absolutely.
those campaigns.
So
how do you avoid that?
Well, the sad thing is I never will have those. I just won't get the money from them. I will always have to have a idea-rich and a cash-poor campaign. We're always going to have to be rooted on the ground because we never will have the money to do what we need. Because we will never, I can't go to the hand that I just bit and say, hey, man, I know I voted and you lost millions thanks to me. Why don't you look out for me? So I'm going to have to go to the people, and I'm going to have to burn up more shoe leather. But I depend on real people to come out and say, you know what? Sanders is the real deal. I mean, we can argue a bunch of stuff about him, and we should, but he's at least a real deal and is not taking in people's money. And under those conditions, we're going to put him back. And I'm going to join forces with every type of person who wants to clean this place up. I didn't come here to make friends. I didn't come here to kiss babies or to be very popular. I came up here to clean this place up and bring stuff back home. When you're looking at reports like this, and Scott, we did a report on the minority businesses. Page after page has D's and C's of how these agencies are doing.
Scott Stringer gave his own
D's and
office
C's.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
This means that people are not. This money's going somewhere. We have to break up the old boy network where the money's going to and make sure that it goes to where it should. Because when more people compete for jobs and businesses, it's better for everyone. But at the same time, everyone knows that small business actually is who hires the most people in New York City.
Right.
But did we also know that small businesses usually hire people who look like themselves? Nothing personal. When a guy who speaks Polish and he's got to move stuff fast, he wants somebody who understands Polish.
Right.
And it's nothing. It doesn't mean something bad. Giuliani, his first act,
Rudy
Giuliani, the first act of Rudy Giuliani was to get rid of affirmative action, MWBE law. I know I was the chair of economic development for the city council at the time. He cost the people of color over $1 billion. The majority of that, $650 million, came out of the African American community, which means there's a reason why we have so many people standing on corners, pants hanging down, unemployed, etc. When your money is going to the old boy network, when it's not allowing fair competition to take place, meaning people of color also can compete, not given to them, allowed to compete. When this is not happening, it's going to result in crime at one level where those who have it are going to want to continue to have it, but crime on another level. Those who don't have a job, some of them are going to do stupid things. We in government have an obligation to stand up against this stuff. We did. I'm the author of New York City's Local Law 129, which is MWBE, affirmative action, if you wish, and we need to do the same up here. Competition, free market, and a free market of ideas up here too, where there's a new breed up here, and we're not really interested in going along. That three-man business may have done for others, but my God, I'm too far in the rear. By the time I get to the top, I have to break that up, man.
Well, before we let you go, I just want to get a sense, do you feel that your conference is changing inside the conference? Do you feel that there's more people that feel the way that you believe the things that you do and believe that you need to clean up your own conference?
This is a new Senate.
Yeah.
If I had been here with all of that skullduggery and shenanigans, I would have been the first to speak out loud and say, there's nothing ideological here. There's nothing political here. There's some people wanting to have power and whatever goes with that. People need to stand up and say, this is not a political divide. There's nothing political dividing you guys. You have the power and you want to keep it.
Simple as that.
Simple as that. And we need to break that up, and we need to if we put the people first, wouldn't that be different?
Before we let you go, I'm sorry, but
Please.
City and State, as we're streaming live, you said something at the beginning, and I'm still thinking about it, and it's just bothering me with regards to the fact that people don't know something basic as who your city council member is, assembly, and what they do. Is that a fault of the education system? Should we have civic lessons, civic classes that actually explain something as basic as that as part of the curriculum, at least in the New York public school system or the state public school system?
Now, we have to watch making the schools do everything because, I former school board president in 27.
Well, that's why I'm asking you.
Yes. Now, we have to watch it because the schools can't do everything. However, it has been a historic function that the schools help teach civic responsibility. During the budget cuts, we had to get rid of just about everything, music, art, and civics. We're paying for it. If we dumb down the population, they elect dumb leaders.
Is there anything you can do from your office? Do you feel like there's any way you can continually reach out to your constituents? And is there anything you've been
we
doing
are
to
doing
do that?
something.
Yeah.
We're going to do something novel and no one has ever done. It's so simple. We're actually going to put a pamphlet out saying who does what. What are the responsibilities of a district leader? What are the responsibilities of a state committee person? What does a senator do? Please tell me. What does a senator do? All of those type of things. We're going to put it out. I'm going to make sure that my people give it to you so that at least you will be able to say, aha, have you done? And this way you'll be able to measure us, measure and hold us accountable for what we are supposed to do and not what we can do. Also, if we want to attack crime, you got to give these guys a raise. They haven't had a raise in 15 years. Come on.
These guys being who?
The state legislature.
I just want to make sure.
As a whole.
I knew who you were talking about. I just want to make sure.
Had not had a raise in 15 years. Any union that came to us.
But I hear the governor doesn't want to do that because if you do that, how much? And then it'll look bad for him. And he's,
Forget the politics, but put a committee in charge of it. Get it away from the politicians and all of that.
Well, let me ask you something. What would be a fair salary, annual salary for a legislator?
First things first, let's make it a full-time job.
Okay. And
Full-time job.
How much would be a fair salary?
Well, we could look at it. We could versus other communities. California, if my memory serves me correct, has it for $150,000. Other people, New York, of course, we expect more from people. If it's $79,000 base for part-time,
double that.
Double it. Or some variation of that, whatever is fair.
Yeah.
However, it should be a full-time job.
With excluding outside income.
I would love to exclude it. I want to exclude. I personally broke it in the church mouse. So excluding outside income is good for me. However, I like the governors and the Congress says no more than 15%.
Okay.
Which, royalties for a book or whatever, a college class or whatever you're doing.
Right.
But it should be full time. I have no idea how anybody is serving the people in a part-time level. I don't have as many hours in the day.
Gotcha.
And if you could do that in part-time, you're really good.
Well, Senator, thank you. You haven't been shy with your opinions, and
I may get kicked out of the Senate thanks to you
no,
guys.
well, the
but
people do that.
Actually,
and
that's true.
If they vote you in, they may not like you.
The people are prepared.
My people love me, and I'm not worried about telling
There
the
you go.
truth, because I can tell all of these guys, you can't put me out because you didn't put me in.
Senator James Sanders, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank
Enjoy
you.
Caucus weekend.
Always a pleasure.